Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 34. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP Sports Talk, Season 7, Episode 43 today. I got a special guest coming on here today, but again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. Live with CDP Sports Talk is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, the home of Southern Talk and Sports. And Live with CDP Sports Talk is now available on radio station CKRT, Border City Radio in Windsor, Ontario. Thanks to their station manager and owner, Donna, for that. And I will be on there on Fridays at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, and on Sundays, a rewind from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern as well. I hope everyone's doing well on this Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. It is a mild and rainy day here in Southern Ontario, and I'm looking forward to my guest today. This is going to be her first time on my show, and I'm excited to have her. Her name is Nashville recording artist, singer, songwriter, and fiddler. My first fiddler on my show. Her name is Rachel Stacy, and she's just released a new song that came out, I believe, in November of 2023 called Empty Glass. And she has another single coming out on March 29th called 3 Words. So I'm excited to speak to Rachel about her music career and her latest singles. Good afternoon, Rachel. How you doing?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm doing okay on this rainy day here in Southern Ontario.
We're getting there. I think we're getting some of your weather here.
We haven't had much of a winter here in Southern Ontario. It's been mild, and we haven't had a lot of snow as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sad. That's kind of sad. We need the snow.
I'm used to the 4 seasons, and I do miss the snow, and I'm used to the cold, but it's just been one of those winters. But you're in Nashville right now currently, right?
Right now I'm in Texas.
So Texas.
We are in Texas right now, and it is yucky outside. Ooh.
What part of Texas are you in?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. Now I got to ask you this. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Are you a Dallas Cowboys fan by any chance?
I plead the fifth. I have a couple of my favorite teams. I'm torn between, some people.
That's okay. Hey, the Cowboys and Eagles didn't do much in the playoffs. They both got put out in the first round. So,
right. But, exactly.
Hey, were you able to watch Super Bowl?
You what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying that. Well, you asked if I watched the Super Bowl. Yes, I did when I could. We were in between things. So. But you what?
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully one day you'll be playing at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes, that's every artist's dream, right?
What did you think of Usher's performance?
Amazing. I love Usher, though. I have a story. I was in Hollywood, and I was actually signing my first record deal. And I was at a restaurant, and I had driven up because I was so excited, and I was parked and did the dinner, and we looked over the contract, and we're doing that with our team. And I realized at the end of the dinner, I was looking for my keys, and I didn't have a fob thing yet. I had still had this thing, and this is a while ago. And I was panicking to find my keys. So I run out to my car. Well, it had been running for 3 hours with the keys inside of it. So the thing, we didn't have, anyway, the point was Usher had pulled up behind me with his team to pick up a to-go order where we were. Oh my gosh. And he's on his phone the whole time, and he helped me. He was like, they got a person out, got his buddy to get in there and get my keys out. I ran into him a couple more times in Hollywood. He's a sweetheart. So to see him up there was like, that's so cool. I'm so proud of him.
You're going to have to do that again.
Yes, maybe I can do it with him. I'm like, hey, yeah, sure, give me a call.
Were you able to get a picture with him?
No, I didn't. I've never been, because I lived in Hollywood and I spent a lot of time in Nashville, New York, and celebrities to me they're us. They just have a lot more exposure. So to me, it was just like fan of his music, and we BS'd for a little bit. And I guess when you're conditioned to it so much, it's not as much like, oh, a celebrity, because you're around them constantly. You're completely kind of not callous or numb to someone you're walking down Sunset Boulevard and you're running into half the actors, and I knew so many people anyway. It just didn't dawn on me.
You might have to include that in one of your songs one day.
What, that Usher helped me break into my own car?
Yeah. That's a great story. And that's what I love about this show on My New Career is the storytelling, hearing stories from my guests and learning things from them about their career and that as well.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those, unfortunately.
Hey, I want to say thank you to your agent or producer, Cliff, for arranging this as well.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you, Cliff Doyle, Triumph Publicity. Yes, very much. And CDX.
How long have you been working with him for?
I've known Cliff a long time. He's been my publicist for, I think, a little over a year or 6 months. I don't know. I just know I've known him. He's known me for many years, and I signed with Triumph. Middle of last year.
I was going to ask you this later in the show, but I'm going to do this now. When you first started out in the industry, how important was it to surround yourself with the right people to get you going in this industry?
Very important. I think one of the things that I could hand down when I first started the industry was that I really was such a workaholic. I didn't even notice the people I was surrounding myself with. And I had surrounded myself with other very like-minded workaholic people. And it was great. And then I had such a great team behind me that everyone that believed in me, I like to tell this story because if I had not had these guys from day one, when first I started the Cat Club in Los Angeles on Sunset Boulevard, and Slim from Stray Cats was like a big support of mine, just because I play his club. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And so, and then, that was my start, whatever. And then, but slowly that was me. First I played with a girlfriend, then I played by myself, and I became my own artist. And then I was a regular there, Happen and Harry for all the LA people, booked me all the time. And what happened is my band was formed out of that particular me performing there all the time. I had put an ad in Music Connection that I'd been looking for other players, and I ended up meeting my bass player, who ended up being my musical director and producer, Mr. Michael Lyons. And the coolest part about that is having a work ethic like I did. I'd attracted other people with that same kind of work ethic. So if you're lazy, you're probably going to attract lazy. And I didn't really recognize until later what a gift it was that I had such an amazing team, because our first tour, those guys played for $400 a week for me. Our first tour, we did not have heavy funding. We were in a van with no money, touring the country, doing what radio we could, because we didn't have program directors or anything like that. We just did it all, with peanuts, and traveled the country, booking ourselves, and ended up, we had some Nashville people that were working with us too. And we did the whole thing around the United States. And looking back, I attracted all that through my work ethic. And also I just tenacity, whatever. But it was like someone said, it's also your talent. You've got to remember it's your talent too. I was just like, I'm a hard worker. I work so hard. So attracting that, but also surrounding yourself with that, you will surround yourself with what you are at the time. And, I've had moments when I was kind of lazy in the industry, and I'm attracting lazy people. I'm one of those people that believes in energy. I believe that what you put out there, you are going to get back. I believe that if you push hard, you're going to get a push back hard. If you're soft, you're going to get soft. And so looking back, I was really lucky because the people I was running across did not happen because I was not out there busting my ass. And looking back, that $400 a week, I'm like, I'm so grateful for those guys. I mean, we pay for their meals and hotels and stuff like that, but 400 a week. I mean, that's barely 2,000 a month, and they were out on the road with us. So I just still can't believe, and they're all pros. So yes, it's very important. I know it's a long way around it, but I like to hand that down to younger artists. I'm like, whatever you work hard, those things happen, and they still happen all these years later for me. When I put it in, I end up with the right surroundings. And so Cliff Doyle is one of those guys that he's seen me in the beginning of my career to the, right now. And of course, CDX, the crew I'm with now, that's a team behind you that are behind you because you work hard and you are defying all the odds.
And that's what I'm trying to do too, as well. It's a work ethic, and talent is great, but if you're not willing to put in the effort, you can only go so far with talent. And I wanted to ask you this, Rachel, since I have you on. For those that are watching this live streamed or later on audio or my two radio stations, and they're looking to get into the music industry, whatever age they are, what advice would you give them from your experience?
Don't do it. I'm just kidding. I would give the same advice I would to someone if I was a lawyer. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of school, a lot of reading, a lot of researching, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of winning, a lot of losing. So I think it's with any career, but this one's a little harder because it's a little bit more passionate on the side of art because there's no price on art. And a lot of people do art for free. And so for those of us that don't do art for free, we do it for income. You have to find out what do you want out of the industry? What do you want to go full blown? My dream's always been Grammys. It's just Grammys and tour buses and my songs. I'm a songwriter first and foremost, and the rest is all musician and musical work. I produce, I do it all. I would say my advice would be that if you really want to do this industry, find your niche, like what you want to do, like what is it that you want to do? People ask, I have all the hats, and I am a hat addict, but I do all the hats. I produce, I do behind the scenes. I did radio. I was a host of a radio show that I highlighted.
Awesome.
I highlighted artists. I've done, what hat do you want to wear? Do you want to wear one hat? Or like Jason Alexander says from, I don't know if you remember Seinfeld.
Oh, yes.
I worked with him many years ago, and he said, he asked everyone in the room if they had any other passion besides acting or the arts. And 2 or 3 people did. They raised their hand, and like, what is it? Oh, wow, I love to build cars or whatever. And the other person, and he leans forward on the table and he goes, then get out of this industry. I was like, boy, that hit me between the eyes because I was like, that's me. I take his advice every day. I produce, I play several instruments, I sing, I'm a backup girl, I'm a front girl. Sometimes, I'm crew for friends, or I do sound for girlfriends, or I'm a songwriting coach. I just hand down what I know. It's not like I'm telling them how to do it. I do it all. So the way I would say to that's why I joke. I'm like, get out, don't do it. What do you want to do? If there's a younger generation too, or the parents are watching and they want to get their kid into it, get ready. It's a lot of work. And for me, I love it. You cannot throw something at me that does not make me love it. I hate it sometimes when I'm in it and I'm frustrated, and I do struggle with outside issues with little mental health and depression. And for me, the more that you give me, the more I see that I can handle it, it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody. I have many friends in the industry that have left the industry because they just can't handle it. They don't want to. It's not that they can't. They just don't want to.
I find the busier I stay, the better it is for my mental health as well, because this is something I have a passion for. And I wanted to say this too. You just brought it up about all the hats. By the way, I like your hat. By the way, I need to get a
My
cowboy
daddy's.
hat.
This is Daddy's
That's
hat. That's
That's
daddy.
really nice. Yeah, I wear the ball cap, but I would one day like to get a cowboy hat. But wearing all hats, like you said, is important because I love doing the on air stuff with my radio shows and my podcast, but I also do camera work. I do digital writing. I do some other freelance media work as well. So I'm trying to do a little bit of everything. It doesn't mean I'm going to be the best at everything, but I think whatever career you're in the music or media like I am, it's good to know a little bit of everything. And also, too, you sometimes have to step out of your comfort zone.
Right. Definitely. Well, and I think I step out in front of my comfort zone quite often every stage that I hit. You go on stage and it's a different city, a different night, a different thing. Or, if you're local, you do a lot of you go do your local shows. Um, so the comfort zone does. And what hat do I have on that day? Well, that day I'm a performer. When I'm in the studio last night, I was practicing some bass stuff on a new song a girlfriend and I had written, and I was while I was in the studio and I was hitting record and I was doing the thing that my engineer does. But I have my own studio. I have my own recording studio. I had a radio show I produced. I did all the stuff behind the scenes. And at the very end of the day, the hat that I choose to wear at that moment keeps me busy enough that the experience gets better and better, and I can hand it down to somebody else. And we've got to give it back. You got to give it back to the younger generation. You have to, or you're not doing your job if you hold on to it and you're selfish.
How important is a strong support system? And also, I wanted to ask you this being in the music industry, how do you know when to take a little bit of a break so you don't have burnout? And then is there a lot of burnout in the music industry?
Yes, there's a ton of burnout. It's interesting because right before this phone call, I was kind of telling, yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, I did a TikTok talking about mental health and that I'm struggling with a little depression right now. And I had an amazing day, amazing shoot. We did a video shoot in Fort Worth, and I was headed back and driving, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just depression was in between my ears, and it's just a lot. So part of my story, I've been sober for 12 years, and
Yes, congratulations.
thank you. And so that's the whole point behind Dean Dillon and Gary Stewart's song Empty Glass. The reason why I recut it is because it's exactly how I felt back when I drank. And not everybody had the problems I did, but I drank over my depression and being too busy. I was constantly busy and my brain was always loud. It was just like, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to be perfect. I got to do this. I got to set up straight. I got to do this. I got to sing right. I got to do this right. This person, said this about me, so I better go change that. Or this person doesn't like me, so I better make them like me. It was just so much going on. So that song, I just was one of mine where I was like, oh my God, that's me at the end of the bar and just heartbroken over either industry or boy or, life, family or whatever. And in that particular time, I didn't have a big support system except drinking buddies. So what do? You just continue to drink. And now I have some of my best friends in the world who still, they didn't drink like I did. But I tell part of that story because me getting too busy knocks me back into a total, for me, not knowing how to balance to slow down. And when I don't know how to slow down, and I'm constant. Okay, so I watched this with somebody I dated for quite some time. Cannot not be on a screen. Does that make sense? And they're way older. They're older and always on a screen. I'm talking if it isn't a computer, it's a phone. If it's not a phone, it's an iPad. If it's not an iPad, it's the computer in your car. It's constantly. And what it was, and it would amp me, not because they were irritating me. I was like, oh my God, that's me. They cannot sit still. They cannot get off the brain. The brain doesn't stop. And so musically, that's what music does for me. It brings me peace. It calms me down. So by the time I get to the song, there's a sense of peace. Someone said to me once, Rachel, watching you in the studio is like watching someone take Valium. I was like, what? I calm down. My breath slows. And I don't know why, but it does. It's peace to me. So the way that I find calm sometimes to get away from the music when I'm in burnout mode, because I can listen to a song over and over and go, ugh, I'm overdoing it. And I did that last night. So what it is, I could feel the depression kind of kicking in, and I was needing a screen to cover a little bit of depression or mental health I'm dealing with, and I was constantly in the screen, and couldn't get the bass part right, and I couldn't get this right, and I had to go, I need to go sit down and calm down, just breathe. Go get your journal out, take a deep breath. I'd been on a, several mile walk earlier that night, and I just couldn't stop the anxiety. And me getting honest about this stuff is very new. I did not talk about this years ago because I did not want you to know that I deal with depression. I did not want you to know that I am sad sometimes when I'm happy. That's just mental health. And so just dealing with it right before I talked to you, I was texting someone. I was like, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm just getting honest about it. And um, I think a lot of artists deal with depression. I really do, because we can't create. And if I'm creating too much, it's because I can't get off the screen and I'm hiding something. I need to. So finding the balance for me has been new. Isn't that funny? I've been in the industry a long time. It's very new. I don't know how to balance. I'm not good at it. So what I'm learning to do is say, no, I can't. I just can't right now. I just can't do this right now. And then I'll also own up to my state. I'll tell you, let me give you this. This is the music business. Okay. And something recently happened where I got too busy and everything got in my way. Personally, I could not handle something. It was literally the dumbest stuff ever. Nothing dramatic. I was overwhelmed with shows and radio and songs, and then personal life here. I had stuff going on with maintenance stuff in the house. And I missed a very important meeting from being too busy. And I had to do some makeup, because I inconvenienced an entire team. And look, I'm not like that. I'm not a flaker. So everyone understands, but we can't do that. You can miss one meeting and miss your whole career up, unfortunately, because we don't have write-ups and, hey, this is, you're suspended for a week or whatever. And I let people I care about down, and it really messed me up. And I'll tell you this right now, that those are the times that wake me back up to slow down. And as an artist, I love handing that to a younger artist and just go, try to learn to balance. You're not going to be perfect at it. You're just not going to be but go take a break, take a vacation. I went to Universal Studios with my best friend and her son just to get away, not do music. And you know what I did the whole time I was there? I'd have to push my phone away. I'd have to go, no music. I did. No, because you need to refresh, you need to recharge. And I songwrite constantly. I mean, I'm grabbing my phone. You'll say something and I'll go, I write down the lyrics. And sometimes you just have to shut that off. You have to.
I think I can relate to you a little bit too, is because I'm constantly working on my show. If I'm not on air, I'm booking guests, I'm promoting myself, and there's some nights I don't get much sleep at all, and there's sometimes where I do need to take a little bit of a break, and that because you can get burned out in media or any career that you're in. Passion is good, but you also have to find a balance as well.
Yes, balance is hard, and balance is not just balancing beam. It is literally the brain getting it to calm down. And as a younger artist, when I was hitting the pavement, especially in Sunset Boulevard, and rubbing elbows with everybody, that's why I was so conditioned to celebrity whatever. And I've been in the industry a long time now, but I learned from some of the biggest names in music, slow down. I'm so fast-minded anyway. People, they could see right through it, and they're like, take a deep breath, breathe, sit down, focus. And I'm still just as hyper. Anyone who knows me knows I'm such a workaholic. I just am. And I won't always say it's because I'm covering something. It's just because that's how we're conditioned. Like you said, we got a book, for me, sometimes I'm like, when do I have time to rehearse? My band and I, we have rehearse before we go on the road, or I'm luckily I've been with my guys long enough. I'm like, I send new songs and I'm like, chart them out. We don't have time. Everyone, will bus calls at this, and then we do that. And next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, I don't think I've slept in 6 days. So you have to force it.
You got to look after yourself too sometimes.
Eat right. Oh gosh, I love this. Lemmy from Motorhead said,
Great band.
Yeah, I love Lemmy. Lemmy and Slim were very pivotal in the beginning of my career. they basically told me, if you're going to look like this, blonde hair, blue eyed, tall, whatever, Barbie, whatever you want to call it. I don't think of myself like that, but I love makeup and hair and all that fashion. And Lemmy and Slim said, if you're going to look like this, you better know how to talk to the musicians, know your industry, stay off the casting couch. If you don't know what that means don't sleep with people in the industry to get to the top. um, what was it? Oh, have fun doing it, whatever the whole things were. But one of the things he said to me is people don't, they think because of, if you think Motorhead, right? Eat right, sleep, stay off the drugs and alcohol, or if you don't have a problem like I did, balance it out. Don't show up to your job drunk. Why would you go? You wouldn't go to your office like that. Why are you coming to the stage like that? So the things that I learned in the industry were just from bigger names in music. I say bigger, just working industry people. We'll call them. Now I'm a working musician who has a lot more success than the girl who's just starting. It's not. We're all in this business together, and it ebb and flows. And the biggest thing he said was nutrition, sleep, lack of chemicals. And they all said that. Anybody else I worked with that had an ounce of success.
And I have a battle myself right now. I'm battling weight. I can lose the weight and then it comes back. And I find sometimes when I'm stressed out or I'm working too much, I turn to the bad foods. And that's something now I'm working with a nutritionist and doctor to become healthier, because if you neglect your body, eventually you'll pay the price in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you will.
So I think we all have battles with things.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
All right. Just wanted to get into some questions with you, Stacy. The first one, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you're originally from Marion, Illinois, and then you moved to Oklahoma City. So just tell us about that, and when did you take a serious interest in the music industry when you were younger?
Well, my name's not Stacy, it's Rachel.
Rachel, sorry,
No,
Rachel.
I say that because I've dealt with that my whole life. It's so new. And my best friend was Stacy. So growing up, people would be like, hey, the joke was Rachel Stacy's crying. And I'd go, no, I'm not. And they're like, no, Stacy's crying. So I'm used to it. You know what? I hate to do this, but my computer, hold on. You're going to have to hold. Everybody, hold on.
Okay, no problem. All right.
My laptop is going to shut off on us. So we're going to fix it. Ready?
Nope. Yeah, no problem. I've actually had that one show where I forgot to put my charger on my laptop and I nearly lost my guest. So it's happened to me.
Oh no. I was like,
Yeah.
I had plenty of power earlier. What happened? So, and then I didn't want to be in the studio because I wanted to sit on my little comfy chair. So, what was I saying? Sorry. Oh, where did it start? So actually my mother was an entertainer, and I watched her, and I remember being her little tip girl when I was 3, and it just all started when I was young. And then she got me into music, and I went to school one day and said they had a meet the symphony day, and I walked into the whatever the gymnasium that they had all the instruments, and I walked right up to a violin and said, I want to take that home. That's how it all started. I still don't know why. I do think it's because I'm lazy, and meaning I'm really not. But as far as watching my mom carry her guitar and her upright bass, and she also plays piano, whatever, all these instruments, I was like, ew. Like I knew right off to pick the smallest instrument, and I didn't like any, I don't want to. My mom also played a horn instrument. I can't remember if it's flute or sax. I always get confused. And she was very talented, or is. She's still alive. And I realized that I chose that violin, and I took it home, and my mom just went, she's like, oh my gosh, and this really started, I was a pageant girl at a very young age, and I was in beauty pageants, and I was in talent pageants, and I danced at a very young age. So the stage started watching my mom, and then my mom put me in pageants, and I was not your typical pageant girl. I was really a tomboy wearing a dress. And so she next thing I know, I was singing, dancing, and playing violin and writing poetry. And the heart of the story is that when I got a little bit older and my mom remarried to my stepfather, who's, I talk about that in my story, was highly abusive. My poetry got more and more, and it was my escape. Songwriting was my escape. It kept me, my music kept me alive.
I'm sorry. I can't imagine how difficult that was growing up, like being in that kind of a situation.
Mhm.
Now, the next question I wanted to ask you as well, Rachel, is who were some of your early music influences and mentors when you were starting out and to this day?
Uh, my influences range everywhere from Tanya to Janis Joplin, um, to if you fast forward Loretta, Tanya, like I said, Dolly Parton, and then you fast forward to women now, which are Brandy Carlisle, we've got all the Lucinda. I've just got such a huge range. I mean, because even when I was younger, my mom was a musician too. So I grew up listening to her play Stevie Nicks, all the way to Carole King. I mean, she had that mix too. We had Waylon, Merle, Willie, and then you would have like like I said, Fleetwood Mac. So I was
Great band.
right in between, you know, right in between country and rock at all times. And I mean, the Rolling Stones are country. If you listen to the bass line, it's country. So hold on. This is an old bio you have up, by the way. I am 12 years sober now. I just saw this going across the thing. I'm 12 years, everybody, not 11. But so influence wise, I think I have male and female influences all over the map, and more of a, how would you say it? I really listened to lyrics as a kid. I mean, I really, really did. I was really interested in the story. I was always interested in the story. And like, I mean, you listen to Arlo Guthrie. I mean, these are writers and stuff that just are, I mean, Johnny Cash, if you really listen to that man's album and his writing and the things that he wrote, he's writing stories. They're stories. They're not trying to rhyme. They're not even trying. Just I've always been blown away by really good words. I've always been a word person. I've even journaled since I was a young girl. So
A lot of songs that are written are usually by people's life experiences.
yes, and that's the best part, was just that life experience of learning how to put it on the paper. And then, of course, I got older and didn't even know I was already putting it on the paper. And that's what they have you do when you're healing. They want you to journal. The thing I hand down to most artists is get into journaling. Journal, 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 journal. And you would not believe, when I songwrite coach someone, I have them, if we're doing a song, I have them take 3 topics, which I'll help them choose the topics. And if, let's just say, like I've got one of my girls, like I don't want to give her song title away, one song title, and then we take 3 different areas of that particular title. For instance, if I was about an old water well or something like that, okay? So then I have them journal about 3 different parts of that water well. Like one, why is the water sitting there? How long has it been there? The history of it, and then history was like my favorite topic in school. Besides, I loved math too, but I loved hearing history, and that's part of songwriting. Is you could be your recent history or it could be old history. And that's interesting you said that, because my newer stuff, I have a song that we're releasing this year called Ghost of Lachey Jackson. And it's, to me, it's like my baby. It's like, I really researched about Jackson, Mississippi and the history of it and lynching. And it's a story of love and unforbidden love. And it's just, I'm super proud of it because it has it's more storytelling than I've done with most of my stuff. It's emotional.
I think, Rachel, if I went back to school now, I was okay in school, but I think now with all my life experiences, I think I would do much, much better in school now. Plus, I have a focus that I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was younger as well.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll tell you, that's interesting you said that because I've always known I wanted to do this. I was just born to do it. I knew, I knew the minute my mom hit the stage that it was one day I wanted to do it. And so then I hit the stage at a young age and then dancing and singing my whole life, which my whole background, people who know me, I'm ballet, tap and jazz, modern, all that trained in college and the stuff. And dance saved my life too. Uh, so the arts have been in my life since I was very young. So I was very fortunate to have a traumatic childhood, but to have the arts to fall back on. And if you think about it, in our history, um, Commedia dell'arte, Latin theater, all the theater groups literally were formed due to um, restrictions in society or, pain. What do you think a gesture was created for? To make people laugh? There's pain in history and the arts, and that's, I mean, look at the painters. Picasso didn't have a real good life. If you think about it, he was painting out his pain.
Absolutely. Hey, Rachel, I wanted to get your thoughts on the late Toby Keith and how much he impacted the country music industry and maybe possibly influenced your career a little bit.
Wait, ask that one more time.
With Toby Keith, just thoughts on the late Toby Keith and how much
Oh
he
God,
impacted the music industry.
hugely. And I'll tell you, I don't mean to make this personal, but it's really because his old steel player was my musical director. And Johnny's the one who taught me the number system. He'd been out with Toby for years and he got off the road and a few years later became my MD. And the stories I heard about Toby, that was one hardworking man. I mean, hard working, and he had boundaries and he knew what he wanted. That's something I want. I'm still a girl who's like, I don't know. So it impacted me. I wanted him to live a long life. So he was huge in the industry. He believes in people, and I never knew him personally. I just was connected to his old steel player and Johnny Helms, and but man, he affected a lot of people. I mean, what, Taylor wouldn't even be Taylor if Toby hadn't have
Uh,
popped in. He believed in a lot of people, but he also believed in himself. Even I'll tell you the example I learned. You've got to believe in yourself more in order to help other people.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you there. Did you have one favorite song of his?
Okay, don't laugh.
I won't.
Besides, it was what's it? Is it American Soldier? What's the one? American Man? What's his one about military? God, that's a good song. I cry every time I hear it. I don't remember the title, but I still think Red Solo Cup. It's brilliant. People are like, that is the dumbest song ever. I'm like, no, that is brilliant. Red Solo Cup. I mean, you're never gonna forget that song. It's not even a serious, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And for someone who drank a lot, the Red Solo Cup was everything.
Absolutely. I liked How Do You Like Me Now? That was my favorite song.
I love that. I do too. Or let's talk about me. Let's talk about, yeah, let's talk.
Absolutely. I'm going to put you on the spot with this next question. Do you remember the very first song you performed in front of a live audience and the first song that you wrote? And you have anybody that helped you with your songwriting when you first started out?
My very first song, my very first performance.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. My very first performance on stage singing Amy Grant, uh, Friends of Friends Forever. I've never told that. I've never been asked that.
Until now. Until
Yeah,
now.
I was, I mean, no, wait a minute. We're talking as a music. Okay, that might be a lot. That's my second. My very, 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 very first was I Love a Piano because I tapped and sang to it as a pageant girl and won most talented. It says, But I love a piano. I love a piano. I love to hear that fellow play. I love a piano. Whatever that is. That was my very first. I was 5. So yeah, my second song was "Friends Are Friends Forever" by Amy Grant.
Now, out of the musical instruments you've played, which one was the most difficult to learn and get better at?
Well, the violin is the most complicated instrument in the entire family of stringed instruments. I'm still learning it all these years later. So I would say the violin, for sure, because I'm
How
a
good of
guitar
a
player. I'm a guitar player too, and to me, there's scales, there's frets, so we can gauge where we are on the guitar if I'm playing lead or a rhythm. Not on a fiddle. You got to have a good ear, and you got to know exactly where you're placed on the violin with no frets. So to me, that's the most difficult.
Who were some of your other favorite guitar players?
Guitar players?
Yeah,
Oh gosh. Well, I love Jimi Hendrix because he had no
good
training.
choice.
He had no training. Oh,
Really?
he was one of the best. Yeah. He was experimental. And so he inspires people like me who just want to be experimental. But I still learn from the best. I ask for licks. I want to be Bonnie Raitt in the next 10 years. I want to learn slide like her. I just have that desire. And so I'll go and ask some of my favorite guitar players. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do this? Stevie Ray Vaughan, you gotta love Stevie. I love John Mayer. I think he is tasty. I was jealous when Maren Morris got to do a song with him. I was like, no, I want one too. I've known Maren since she was 15. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of amazing guitar players out there. But my fiddle players are still my Johnny Gimbel will always be, that's my largest influence.
We've had some in Canada too. I think Natalie McMaster, Ashley McIsaac, Cincinnati McLeod, and Bill Lamy. I was going to ask you about the fiddling. Do you find there's still a number of fiddlers around, or do you find there's less and less going forward?
Well, we're a dying art, but I will tell you this. I was out in Nashville. Gosh, who's I with? I was with several people, and we were out running around doing some stuff, and I could not believe how many fiddle players I met in one night. I was like, this is refreshing because that means we're coming back, or maybe not. Maybe we've never gone anywhere. They keep taking us out of the recordings, and it's heartbreaking. It's like, no, you need fiddle. So I love that a lot of these artists are bringing the fiddle back. I like fiddle in my tunes. I don't like to put fiddle in every song because, I just not every song, but these are artists who just don't use fiddle at all, and they're considered country. It's a little confusing. Where's the fiddle?
But you did use it in Empty Glass, I believe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, there's fiddle in the original too, so
definitely. You know what? Before we get to a few more questions, can we just play your song "Empty Glass" that was released in November, and then we'll just ask you some questions about that.
I'd be honored. Yes.
Thank you so much. And this is courtesy of your Rachel Stacy YouTube channel. I've already subscribed. So anyone watching, please check out Rachel's YouTube channel and hit the subscribe notification as well. Please let me know, Rachel, if you can hear the volume okay or not.
Okay. An empty glass, less cigarettes. It's closing time. I'm drunk again. Somehow made home and cry myself to sleep. That's the way my day ends every night for me. Every night I'm in some boy
I'm pouring whiskey on a heart that's on fire. Forgetting you ain't no easy thing. Each night for me always ends the same, with an empty glass, less cigarette. It's closing time. I'm drunk again. Somehow make it home and cry myself to sleep. That's the way my day ends every night for me. Oh, every night I'm in some bar. I'm pouring whiskey on a heart that's on fire. Forgetting you ain't no easy thing. Each night for me always ends the same, with an empty glass, a cigarette. It's closing time, and I'm drunk again. Somehow make it home and cry myself to sleep. That's the way my day ends every night for me, with an empty glass, a last cigarette. It's closing time. I'm drunk again. Somehow make it home and cry myself to sleep. That's the way my day ends every night for me. That's the way my day ends every night for me.
Very powerful song.
I agree. I wish I'd written it, but I'll tell you this, getting to perform it has been just amazing. And Dean Dillon's, and Gary Stewart, they wrote that. And Gary Stewart's daughter messaged me and basically endorsed it. And that right there, it did it for me. That was it. I was like, that's all I need. She said, thank you for doing my dad's song justice. And, just making it great. She said, your vocals are on point. And then I said, I want to make your dad's song, put some justice to it. And people are complaining about it too. There's some negative sides to it. And I knew that was going to happen. I'm a female recutting an old country classic, and I'm a female that I sped it up a little bit, but it's my perspective. And we just kind of put on the radio, just added a little bit of what I thought, what felt right to me. And boy, people are getting nasty. And then I have my other fans jump in. They're like, ignore them or whatever. And it's really interesting how cruel people can be. And so luckily I had his daughter's love and support for me to be able to deal with the negativity. And so what I do is I respond to the people and I say, I'm sorry you feel that way. And if I can catch it, there's a lot of good in there. It's not all bad. And it's interesting to be like, to get to tell them, well, as a recovering alcoholic, this is exactly how I felt. And it's my interpretation as an artist. It's just how I decided to do it. So,
you can relate to the song.
Yeah, easy, Lassie. Y'all be nice. Why people are so mean? I've never taken time to tell an artist that I hate their song. You know what I mean?
And that song came out in November of 2023, right?
My version did, yes.
Did it? Okay. I
First
wanted to
radio
ask
did
you,
December 4th.
how satisfying was it when it came out and released to the public?
Well, I've done this so many times, that it's business for me. And it's the exciting part is the recording it and getting it done. That's the most exciting. And then you go into the business side and you're like, all right, gotta get this, gotta get there. If we're gonna get it out there to the public, we gotta get this done, we gotta get that done. So my first excitement is when the first radio station detects it.
How long did it take you to record this song?
A day.
A day. Okay.
Yeah. Well, a couple days, and then the engineer takes it and he masters it and finishes it. So
Now, I'm an old guy. I'm almost 52. Is any of your music on vinyl records? Because obviously vinyl records are huge again. I just wanted to ask you if any
we,
of your music was back on them.
we're going to be putting some vinyls out this year. We're with the songs that I've released through CDX right now in Sony Orchard. We'll have an album and we're going to put it on vinyl. Yeah.
And I'm wondering one day if the cassettes will come back. And I can remember this from the 70s, the 8-track players. I hope the 8-track never come back.
That would be so funny. I remember my first car I bought, it was old. It had an 8-track in there. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't play music in this. So we
Well,
ordered a bunch of old 8-tracks, and of course they sound terrible.
well, and my new vehicle now, I don't even have a CD player. It's all
No, they've
satellite
taken
radio now. So
no, all your computer now our computers don't even have CD players anymore.
yeah. So you've been in this industry a long time. You've seen a lot of changes. How do you like some of the changes, and do you miss some stuff from the past?
Yeah. We make a lot more money when we sell CDs. Um, Streaming has killed our income by a huge percent. So I still carry CDs at my shows because some people just like it. And it's funny because one of my albums I've never released called History, um, it's just a picture of me on the front. And we sell that CD for $15 and it just helps with everything else. And it's really interesting how many people want it. They don't even have a CD player and they like it. So we're like, okay, cool. So we've kept it on, we keep it in stock. So, but the industry changes. It's just part of our world. Old school artists kind of fall off the map because they don't want to learn anything new. You just got to kind of like with any company. Okay, this is the way I look at music business. It's called the music business, not the music hobby. So it's a building. All right. The corporation's in there and they've got a CEO and they have all the heads in there. And another company comes in and buys them out and they revamp everything. And the only way you get to stay on if they have not fired you is you learn the new policies, you learn the new things. And that's where my brain goes is I had to learn all the new policies. I had to learn all the new stuff. I took from my one of my good friends, Sean Gassaway, who's look him up. Him and Cowboy Troy have a lot of stuff together too. Sean wrote, he's one of the writers on my song Boomerang that hit Billboard and Music Row. Sean coaches a lot of artists and shows them, the side of the industry that you don't understand. It's really interesting, the things I did not know. And he trained me on all that stuff and I'm able to kind of give that back too. You just got to learn the new way. There's just a new way. Always a new way. I have a couple girlfriends I love to pieces who've been in the industry a long time. And, they left for a few years and now they're kind of leaning on me to show them what I've done. And I'm like, I'm just showing you what I've learned. I don't know if there's a right or wrong formula, but you got to learn the industry. So do I like it? No. But do I know I have to go in that building every day and do the new policies and the new ways of working? Yes.
And one word I wanted to use too is complacency. You never want to ever get complacent as a musician.
Well, I think that's with anything. Yeah, agreed. I think I watched, I won't name names, but someone I really respect and look up to just won't learn the ways. They just won't, and they're so good. Just doesn't make any sense to me. And I mean, I would beat down the pavement to help them, and then I kind of gave up. I was like, "You're on your own. I can't force this on you. You're so talented, and I want you to succeed so bad." And I just gave up. They just refused. They're like, "That's stupid. That's just dumb." And blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay, well, then you can keep complaining about it, or you could come over with us, and we can make some money in the other way." And that happens a lot. They're complacent. They're just used to their old ways and they refuse to change. And yeah, that's probably the biggest shooting yourself in the foot kind of thing.
I know this is a little different with me being in radio media, but in my other career, I was complacent and I was lazy because I didn't want to learn anything or step out of my comfort zone. And in the last 4 years, I've done more learning and doing things out of my comfort zone than I did in the previous 20 years.
Yeah. Well, you're passionate about it probably, right? So, um, but I do think it's also a personality thing because I was a sports med trainer and therapist years ago.
Did not know that. Cool.
Yes. And because my background's kinesiology, dance. And so to supplement my music career in LA, that's what I did. I was a therapist and a rehab specialist. I got to tell you, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And the problem with that, I loved it so much. I was very good at it, but I was not fulfilled. So you can be very good at something and have a personality thing of like anything I'm involved in is going to succeed because I'm going to make sure it succeeds, right? Then there's the other side that I just wasn't fulfilled and I was good at it and I loved it. But I wasn't fulfilled. And I think that's what I heard in your story is that I'm fulfilled. I'm not always fulfilled daily, but overall, if I quit music, anybody that knows me, which is funny about ex-boyfriends wanting me to quit music and choose them or change. You're getting older now. You should change your career. That kind of thing. I'm like, but anyone who knows me and that would go, God, Rachel is mute. That is her world. Why would you tell them not to do music? And that's the same thing I was saying to you is I'm fulfilled. And it doesn't always look pretty. I feel sorry for who dates us or marries us because it doesn't look like we're fulfilled. It doesn't look like we're happy. And there's days I deal with not being happy in this industry, but I would never quit it. I can't. It chose me.
I can relate a little bit. One of my friends who has his own podcast, his name is Ray, No Huddle Football News. He wanted to ask you, Rachel, will you be at the CMAs this year?
I probably will be, yes. Since I'm a member, I don't know if I'll be nominated, but I'll be there.
And what's that experience been like in the past?
I've actually never been because I'm usually touring.
Okay.
So this year, it's since I'm a member, there's a lot of things that I have to be involved in, and I'll be in Nashville a lot. My world in Nashville is getting ready to get a lot smaller for me being there, so I'm very excited.
Okay. Are you okay for a few more minutes and a few more quick questions?
Sure.
Okay. Are you able to mention a little bit? I imagine you're excited about your next single coming out on March 29th. It's called 3 Words. Are you able to say a little bit about that?
So the radio world versus the digital release world, two different worlds. Okay. So you'll see probably about 6 more singles released this year while Empty Glass is going. It's full going. That's all radio. And radio is not dead, by the way, people. Radio is extremely pivotal in our world. And then you have the digital side of the world, which unfortunately we have to release digitally or they don't know who you are. And music's coming out so quickly now that we have to stay on top of it. So March 29th, I am releasing an old song. Nobody knows it's old, but it's one of the very first records of my career that I never released some of my favorite songs off the record. So we're kind of going to the vaults. And so we're doing this little historical thing versus the history of my music versus newer stuff through the years. So this year you're going to see 6 or 7 different old, new. So it's very exciting. So March 29th, it's a song I wrote called 3 Words and wrote that right there on Sunset Boulevard. And I hated hearing people tell me I love you. I did not like that. And I definitely was that girl who like the boyfriend would be like, I just want you to know I love you. And I go, I like you. So I wrote the song and I wrote it along with my keyboard player and my bass player at the time. And my favorite part of the song is I don't want to hear those three words. Living day to day is more my taste. I don't want to hear those because I don't want to hear those three words because it hurts too much to feel the truth. And it's just talking about we're so scared of being in love. We're so scared of getting hurt. And that's where I was back then. Now the hurt just causes more songs to come out of me. So
I can relate to that as well. And right now, my radio career is my marriage. I'm married to my radio career right now.
I say I'm married to music. Everything else is a love affair. Now, let me talk about three words real quick. I was dating somebody in the industry at the time who I was madly in love with, and we kept it under covers. It was secret. We couldn't tell anybody we were together. We weren't having an affair. It was anything like that. It was just we were trying to keep it like he wanted people to think I was single. I don't know. Back then, that was a big deal. Now it's like all these married people and couples are doing stuff. And so that song was like, I was so madly in love with him. And I was so scared of being in love also. And he was scared of being in love and blah, blah, blah. And so when I wrote that song, the bridge says, just because we keep this under covers, that don't mean that it ain't true. That it's basically touches the people I hear when I do it live that are like, God, I get that. I just get it, So
thank you for explaining that. And that's, like I said, that's why I love my show, because of the storytelling, and I'm constantly learning new things from my guests all the time.
Well, and I think something I'd like to point out that Empty Glass I released, yes, because it's a great song and I love it, but there is a story behind it. And when I got sober November 6, 2011, I never planned on releasing that song because I'm a writer. I want to release my own stuff, right? My heart just said, do it. And when our executive producer, BG Smith, said, how do we get it out there? I said, well, it takes money to do this industry. And unfortunately, if you have millions, you'll go a little further than someone who's nuts and bolting it like this camp over here. And it's, if I can touch some person that's feeling mental health, depression, addiction, or whatever, just by singing a song that means so much to me in my heart, then I've done my job. It's not my mission. It's not like I'm doing that, but I did it because I felt like it was the right thing to do, to be an example of just one of the best written songs. Gary and Dean knocked it out of the park. I mean, that is just an emotional song. And to get to do it as a female, even better. And so I'm hoping it touches a lot of people.
Touched me.
If you hear it on the radio, call and request, get the song out there. Let's get it up the chart so we can
try to promote it here in Canada as well. Hopefully one day. Have you performed in Canada yet?
I've never even been to Canada. I have girlfriends from Canada, and I love. Sorry, I always say sorry.
I'm guilty of that too. But hopefully one day you can come up and perform up here as well. And we have a big music following up here, and country music as well up here.
I think actually there is a festival in Ontario that we tried to get into many, many years ago, and I think we had conflicting dates, something like that. That's all I know about Ontario.
Well, if you ever get to come up to Ontario, please let me know, because I'd love to hear you perform live in person.
I will. It's an exciting show.
And speaking of music, I love my 60s, 70s, and 80s music. And music is so powerful, because even if you're having a tough day or you're down in the dumps, certain music can pick your spirit up, and it's such a powerful impact on people's lives.
Very much. I think for the people that aren't in the industry, if I'll flip side this, my favorite part of what I do for a living is that person in the front row, whether they're singing my song or somebody else's song that I'm covering or whatever. They're just so moved by music. If I have one fan that follows me everywhere and they know every bit of my lyrics because it's touched their lives, and I've done my job, because I've touched them and their lives with my words. That's our jobs as writers. We talk about our life experience. We touch somebody, maybe save their life. You never know.
And you're teaching songwriting right now too, currently, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a songwriting coach, but only for people that I want to do it with.
Okay.
Meaning that it's a lot of work, and it's on my part that, it's just getting that person to be honest. That's really what it is. Songwriting is about honesty, I think. I mean, again, I'm not a guru. I'm not out trying to tell everybody I know yeah, you should do it this way. What I would like to make very clear is that I feel like you cannot write a good song if you're not honest about what's going on. And then you're just writing words and you're commercially, I don't think that's truth. So the best part of songwriting teams that get in there and get honest. And when I work with people that I'm coaching them, I'm just getting them to be honest about their things, and I'd guide them into their own song,
All right. And we're going to wrap this up with a couple quick questions. Before a live concert, Rachel, do you have a ritual or rituals to kind of relax you before a show? And what are some of your favorite places that you've performed at in your career so far?
All right. Yes, I have a ritual. I do a little vocalizing thing, but I'm a prayer. I definitely pray. And for the band members that want to pray with me, I do like us to join, whether they believe or not, in hands, and give each other good luck. I also have a ritual on stage. I have a song called Beautiful. In the middle of the solo, I go to each band member and tell them I love them. And then the other place, some of my favorite places you performed. I got to tell you, I've done stadiums all over the nation. I've loved where I've played, but I love Europe. I just love Europe. They love us. And I did a festival in Austria. I've told the story on other radio shows where they didn't speak a lick of English. They don't even know my music. And I sold out of all my merchandise. And a storm had happened and we lost all power. And then it flooded the stage. So the band and I just jumped off. We grabbed acoustic instruments and gave the audience an acoustic concert. Everybody came in real close because the storm was really crazy. Nobody spoke a lick of English. Nobody. Maybe like, hello. That's it. It was my favorite place to play ever. And I played in Croatia at a small biker bar. That sounds crazy. There was a bunch of bikers at this place in Rovine, Croatia. Just the appreciation of music. And small, and stadiums are great, and that crowd is amazing, but oh my gosh, connection is absolutely unbelievable.
What's the biggest audience you've played at so far in your career?
90,000
90,000. Where was that at?
in Myrtle Beach. It was terrifying.
Wow.
I don't think I ever want to do that again. I think Lou was shaking in I was shaking. It was a lot.
But you managed to get through it.
I made it. Yeah, I made it through.
Well, like I said, hopefully one day you'll come to Canada. Hey, I just want to wrap this up, but do you have a vocal coach, or what are some of the exercises you do as well to maintain your voice?
So since my whole background is opera performance, because that's what I went to school for, performing arts, I was opera trained, and I do a lot of my breathing technique, and that was my thing during COVID. I was also vocal coaching. That's how I made extra money during COVID. Yes, and you're talking about rituals. My biggest ritual is my vocal exercising before shows. And I'm really raspy today because I was singing last night, and I sit in here and I'll do my studio back here and do vocal exercises before I do anything. I do not have a current vocal coach, but my whole background is trained. I'm a trained vocalist. My scholarships were because of my voice.
And I'm not helping by keeping you on here for over an hour.
Believe me, I've done 3-hour shows. We're good. This is good.
Okay. For drinks, I assume would it be water or tea?
Water.
Water? Cold water or room temperature water?
Cold.
Cold? Okay.
Think about it. You put ice on things that might be a little inflamed.
Okay, because I know some people prefer cold water, like real cold, and some prefer room temperature water.
Yeah,
do you ever use honey? Do you
Yes.
use ever honey in that for your voice and that as well?
Not for my voice. That's sugar. It's not good for your vocal cords.
Good to know that. That's something I didn't know.
Okay. Another thing is they say that lemon. They try to say that lemon is bad. It's acidic. Anything acidic on the vocal cords is it's hard. but lemon's also a oh gosh, it helps with your pH and your alkaline. So it just depends on your body, I think. I truly think it just depends on your but honey is very dangerous due to the sugar. It will coat you temporarily.
By the way, I tried karaoke once a few years ago in New York City. I had a few drinks in me and I had fun, but I do not have any musical talent. But it was a lot of fun doing karaoke as well.
My friend, I'll tell you this: that we had friends that we'd go do karaoke when I was younger, and we all sang. We're all singers. So what we would do is, if you sang one note on key, you had to drink a pitcher of beer. So we would go to these karaoke bars and sing terrible. And if you wanted to drink, you sang good, and you were hammered.
So, all right, and I do this with all my guests. What are some fun facts or a fun fact about Rachel Stacy?
A fun fact? Oh gosh, let's think here. Well, I'm obsessed with technology, so I'm kind of a gadget girl, but I have this little, you were talking about rituals. I have a badass button. When I leave my house every day, I hit it and it tells me, and for one instance, it's kind of like a stop button or whatever, and you hit it. And can I show it to you?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
If you got time, yeah.
So fun. Hold on.
All right. Bear with us, guys. My guest, Rachel Stacy, will be back in 1 minute, but we're just having a great conversation. I'm just, rambling on. Okay, perfect.
This is a fun fact about me. So this is my daily motivation. See this button? So
You create your reality.
You create your reality.
Feed fear a suck it sandwich.
Feed fear a suck it sandwich.
You are a badass.
You are a badass.
I need one of these.
Do it.
You can do it.
Do what you love.
Do what you love.
That one applies to me.
Reality.
Yeah. So every day when I leave, before I hit my alarm, I go,
Feed fear a suck it.
so I walk out the door, and that is every day.
You are a badass.
So affirmations, and another fun fact is I'm a gun girl. Anyone who knows me, I'm a gun girl. I grew up with guns. I love to go shooting, and that's the country side of me. And what's another? I don't know. I don't think I'm very fun. My friends will tell you I'm lots of fun, but I know I'll hang up with you and go, oh wait. So I don't know. I'm all music, but my lazy side is I love cookies, and I'm gluten-free. So any gluten-free cookies, send them my way. Yes. Oh God.
I haven't ate cookies in 7 years because I had to give them up. But what's your favorite cookie?
Gluten-free, white chocolate mint cookies.
Favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream? Oh, that's easy. Gelato, chocolate mint.
Good choice. And I was going to ask you this as well. I saw this on your Twitter page. So I guess you wear cowboy boots, which I haven't worn in a long time. I should get a pair. So you're almost 6 feet tall then?
Yes. I'm 5'9", but 6 feet in boots.
Boots. I one day want to get a cowboy hat and cowboy boots again, and I want to come down to Texas. I've never been to Nashville or Texas yet. I've been to 13 states, but there's some states I haven't been to yet, and Texas is one of them as well. But I will not wear my Philadelphia Eagles gear in Texas.
No, probably not a good idea. Now, you need a hat like this. This was my dad's from 1970s, and when he passed away, they gave me all his hats. And see, it's a very large, very large. It's a big hat. It's a very large hat.
I grew up in the 70s. Yes,
you got to get yourself. You got to get yourself a 10-gallon.
I have a big head too, so I'll need the biggest hat size. Literally.
I do too. No, I do too. That's why I have this one, and I've got all his hats. So I have a lot of the cowboy hats you see I'm wearing are probably my dad's or donated to me. I really don't like to buy if the hats. Most of the hats I wear have a story behind them. I don't like to just buy a hat. It's just my thing, like just to match or whatever. But yeah, so that's a fun fact. You should see my hat collection. It's really bad. I need.
How many do you have? How many do you have approximately?
Well, I hate to say this, There's probably 20 hats right here. And I have a hat tree with a violin thing on it. And then there's probably, I probably have over 100 and some odd hats.
Wow. I have 100.
But boots the same way. I am the same way with boots that I am with hats. I'm like, I just growing up with boots and hats. I've always out in LA. I definitely was a little different because, I mean, I was always wearing my boots, you know, my hats, and I loved it. But I loved fashion in general. I was just like always a fashion girl. But hold on, I got one more fun fact. I think.
Okay.
I just realized as I'm talking to you, most of the stuff I do is got a story. Like my bracelets. These were my dad's belts, and so I had them turned into
Awesome.
bracelets. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is Montana Silver. This is a donation from them for me to talk about them. But gosh, I just realized I was talking to you. Everything I have has a story. That was Eddie Money's guitar. That's one you see me always with on stage.
Wow.
This was Daddy's from 1970s. It was a gas thing. It's like there's Dad. He's alive. He's alive there. The story behind it. There's the golden fiddle that was in the Charlie Daniels documentary. It's mine. It was mine that they borrowed. I just realized that as you were saying, I was like, I just realized everything I have has a story. Mom made that. Oh my gosh. See, I learned something about myself on your radio show.
I'm going to wrap this up, but finally I'm going to ask you this. Are you any plans in the future to write a book about your life and about your career?
I don't know. I guess that would be cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could. I mean, you know, it's interesting you said that real quick because someone told me one day that you should write a book, and I just don't think I'm that interesting. And so
I do. I really do, and I'm excited to share this show to my radio stations and to promote your music over here in Canada as well.
that means a lot to me. Maybe I need to think more of myself. I'm a hard worker and I love music, and I hope that I can touch people's lives and be honest and forthcoming about each part of the stories and phases of my life until I die. And my grave will say she died trying. That's it.
And I can tell how passionate you are and down to earth you are. And I really have enjoyed this. And I never thought 4 years ago when I started this, I was struggling to get guests on. I was struggling to do this. And 4 years later, now I've been lucky to get so many wonderful guests around the world on my show. And it was just such a pleasure to have you on today, get to know you from Twitter/X and then Cliff contacting me. And it's just amazing because like I said, I'm finding a more appreciation for country music now and trying to support as many of my guests as I can. And I'm going to subscribe to all your music and continue to be a fan of yours as well as your friend.
Please. Yes. No. And yeah, you can stay in touch. I'll tell you this, the best way to stay in touch with me is you Google me. And the reason I say that is because the website stuff's so like secondary now nobody goes to our websites anymore. I mean, they do, but
social media
is like the way, and Linktree has my stuff. I'm asking people right now to please join my email list. I'm getting way more involved in my email list. You can do that through my Linktree. I have a new merchandise line that just came out. I just haven't pushed it. It's in the Linktree link. You're kind of the first station I've told that to.
I got it right down there on the graphics.
Yes, please order a shirt. And it's just, and I will tell you this, you guys, you're supporting artists nowadays since the digital world is so different by buying our merch and coming to our shows and buying a ticket. That's really where we're making money. And if you like our music, you like what we're doing, support us, just like support Chris here. And I want to thank my sponsors. I want to I thank Dwayne Pan Insurance, BG Smith, and my distributor, and my record label CDX Records, and my distribution Sony Orchard. And the whole crew I have such a great team and my amazing fans that have stuck by. And if I have 10 of you, I'm happy. All right. But the more, the merrier. Bring them on.
And you're going to soon have more Canadian fans as well.
Yay. I love it.
And one of my friends who's a viewer, she's a podcast host too. Her name's Sonia Pearson. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. She's always supportive of my show. And she just wanted to say hi to me and tell you how gorgeous you are.
Georgia on my mind. Hi, Sonia. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's one of my favorite songs, by the way.
Me too. I love it. Oh, Sonia, thank you, honey. You're a doll. Thank you. I appreciate you. I need to do my hair that color. I think I could support it.
And definitely, and we mentioned your social media websites and all that.
Well,
When is your, when? Sorry, go ahead.
let me say something real quick. The reason why I'm sending all of you to Linktree is you can find anything about me on Linktree, meaning like you can add my music immediately, you can go watch my videos, and you can subscribe to all of my stuff. But the more you stream us, the better it is. And also, if you listen to radio, you can learn more about me. My new bio is in there, Chris. I will tell you, my brand new bio is on there. You can talk. It talks a little bit more in depth about more stuff going on. Each bio is always different. And that also I like to add, if you're struggling with any addiction or mental depression, please reach out, ask for help. The help is available. I'm still sober because there was help available.
Definitely, and hey, and I've gone through that too, by the way. And I find the pandemic, I got through the pandemic through my new career change. So I turned a negative situation into a positive, and what I love about this show is just connecting with people and getting to know them in the storytelling aspect. And Sonia has one more comment. You're welcome. And she did it for her 49th birthday, a new hair color. You can definitely wear it, Rachel.
You think so? I don't know, girl. I don't know. You sport it really good. I'm scared.
And I'm a hat guy, by the way. I have 100 baseball caps.
Yes, we're twins. I love it.
Definitely. But oh, yeah. One last thing I wanted to ask you before is I believe you have a live performance coming up on Saturday, March 2nd. Are you able to bring that up?
I
Mention that?
do. That's what I was going to tell you. My schedule. A lot of people have asked about my
Yeah.
schedule, and you can literally do upcoming shows, or it's in Linktree.
Okay.
I've got a very busy week. So Thursday, I'm at the Fort Worth Music Festival with another artist, Randy Brown. Friday night, I'm with Gary P. Nunn and Guthrie Kennard. I'm playing with Guthrie. My show, Fort Worth Music Festival at 3 p.m. It's going on all weekend. I'll be there at 3 p.m. that afternoon on the Here Fort Worth stage. And then I literally get off stage and I go straight down to the grand opening of Rattlesnake Ballroom. But that two great shows that day. But Fort Worth Music Festival is the big one. Come hang out with us, and if you're down at Rattlesnake Ballroom, come and hang out too.
What if somebody can't get to the site physically? Are they going to be live streamed?
No, these are festival shows. At least this one isn't. Yeah, no, not these this week. That happens sometimes, but no, not this week.
Okay. And since you're from Texas, what's the one thing you love about Texas the most?
Well, I'm not from here, so I'm a transplant.
Originally.
I'm not originally from here. I moved from Los Angeles, and then so I'm based here, but I'm in more Nashville. I'm more Nashville and Nashville, New York, LA. Meaning I say more because that's where I came from. So by the time I got here, and now I'm a transplant here, what I love about Texas this past many years that I've lived here is there's just a sense of they're very proud of their state. And I didn't grow up here, and people are very proud of Texas. And it's beautiful to watch. They're very protective of their state, just like Tennessee, Nashville, same way. But but there's a lot more pride here, like wicked pride. And I love the fact I can be in the city and then go see the horses. I can go shoot a gun. I can go ride the horses. I can go hang out in the city. So that's the kind of the best part. You can go to small towns in Texas and see old Western stuff and old towns, and then you can go into the big metropolis. So it's been very, very good to me, and I've loved living here.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to get out there one day to Texas and
Yeah.
Nashville as well.
I've got some people hook you up.
Yeah, definitely, because I bought a new vehicle, and I love driving. I don't like flying. I like driving because you can see more of the country, and I hear Nashville is very beautiful. And I would like to go to Graceland, and see where Elvis Presley was from too, as well.
You would love it. You would absolutely. Hey, I do want to thank one more sponsor, Lemon Avenue Plastic Surgery. They are for all your skin and surgical needs. They're the best, and they're one of the people behind me. So very, very excited. So I want to thank them too.
Okay, and finally, Sonia, just last comment. We all have mental health struggles. I've been there. Proud of you both. Well, thank you, Sonia. And connecting with people really helps.
It really does. And not talking about it is a problem. And I'm the queen isolator, and I know I can't do that. So not to make this show about mental health, but it's very much a current thing in my life. And if my music can help you there, or any story I told you today, just just reach out. We've all got to be there for each other.
I've actually done a show on that too. So I want my show not just to be a sports talk, but an entertainment show. I want it to be entertaining and have good discussions. And again, Rachel, I want to say it was a pleasure and a treat having you on my show today. And I want to say thank you so much for giving me over almost 90 minutes of your time. And
Oh my gosh. Oh wow, I did. Oh guys, that went quick. Sorry about that.
When you're having great conversation, time flies.
I love it. Okay, cool.
And when I wrap this up, I'm going to send you a video, an audio copy, and I'm going to create some 1-minute reels for you as well. I've learned how to do I've learned how to edit video during Christmas. So now I love doing it. Yes. I love it. Absolutely. But I want to say continued success in your music career. And I'm looking forward to your next single coming out on March 29th. I will definitely promote your music as much as I can here in Canada and on my 2 radio stations.
I appreciate you so much, Chris. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for supporting us. We need you. So
thank you so much, Rachel. And you have an open invite to come back on my show again in the future.
I'd love to. I talk about some we talk about maybe I'll learn some more sports stuff for you.
Or even learn to start your own podcast maybe one day. A music podcast.
Oh, maybe we might do that.
All things music with Rachel Stacy.
Well, I had a TV show called America's Country Music on the Country Network, and that was a whole season, and it was a lot of work. So I respect what you do.
Well, thank you. And
what you do.
And
I had a whole team. I had a whole staff. So, and I was by myself as just the host and my artist interviewer, and I had to study my artist, and it was a lot of work. And man, what you're doing is absolutely incredible. I encourage everybody to really support Chris as well.
Well, thank you so much. I love this, and I have so much respect for musicians because it's not an easy profession, and it's a hard road. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming on, Rachel. And we'll definitely keep in touch with you on social media and continue to listen to your great music.
I hope so. Well, thank you, Chris, so much. You guys have a beautiful day. Carpe diem. And like I said, follow your dreams. Music is the very making of my soul.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rachel. Have a great afternoon.
Bye, you guys. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed season 7, episode 43, overall 373 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. Before we wrap this show up, guys, I've got some other news. Live with CDP Sports Talk is now available on radio station CKRT. Border City Radio in Windsor, Ontario on Friday afternoons from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, and on Sundays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. You can check out their website at ckrtbordercityradio.com. By the way, guys, if you're looking for a new stove, dishwasher, washing machine, dryer, barbecue, fridge, appliances, please check out Shoes Appliance Center at 397 Woodlawn Road West in Guelph. And as for Peter Lombardo in sales, his number is 519-824-4925, or you can email Peter at shoeappliance.com. Just bought a new washing machine from Shoe Appliances here in Guelph, and I highly recommend Shoe Appliances and my friend Peter Lombardo. Again, you can reach him at Peter at shoeappliance.com, or you can visit the store at 397 Woodlawn Road here in Guelph. Also, guys, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario, 519-623-7722, or you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. I am now a volunteer dog walker and fundraiser with the Cambridge and District Humane Society. And again, you can check them out at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, or give them a call at 519-623-7722, or you can visit their website again, cambridgehumanesociety.org. Finally, guys, as always, Live with CDP Sports Talk is a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame. Is on weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM, the key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website, if you want to listen to the Rod Peterson Show daily from 12 to 2, or my show from 8 to 9, is wqeefm.radio12345.com. Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. Thank you to StreamYard.com. Just to let you know, Live with CDP can only live stream on Instagram for 1 hour. Hopefully, they'll get that worked out with Instagram and StreamYard in the future as well. But I want to say thank you to StreamYard for now being available on Instagram. You can also follow my digital media work in my social media sites at beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, hurry to Barry Cullen Chevrolet before Thursday, February 29th. They have 13% off of winter tires that are in stock at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. So you guys, if you can want to save 13% on winter tires, get yourself a set of 4 of in-stock tires at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Only good until Thursday, February 29th as well. I am also a content creator on TikTok. You can follow me there at Live with CDP. I post player interviews, coaches interviews, media work stuff, promos, and I promote reels of my guests and my show on TikTok as well. So I Live with CDP. I have 1,950 followers. I just need 50 more followers to get to that 2,000 mark as well. And also, guys, if you want a personalized video message, birthday wishes, get well wishes, a pep talk, whatever, I am on cameo.com. Just type in Chris Palme and request a Cameo for me, and the proceeds from Cameo will go to my radio shows and media work as well. So again, check out Chris Palme on cameo.com. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting such as yours truly, check out StreamYard.com. They have free basic plans, or they have plans like I'm on now, professional plans for $49 US a month. And if you're a business and do a lot of webinars or live streaming for your business, check out StreamYard.com and contact the sales department for pricing for businesses as well. And I've been with StreamYard for over 3 years, and I highly recommend it as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasters, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, and Tuned In. Finally, you guys can email or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can text me and the show at 519-820-7188. If you have comments, questions, suggestions, any feedback, good or bad, please let me know, because I'm always working hard to improve this show as well. And today, we have some National Hockey League action at Little Caesars Arena. The Detroit Red Wings are trying to go for their 6th straight win tonight when they take on Anthony Mantha and Alex Ovechkin and those Washington Capitals. And what a win by the Wings on Sunday night in Chicago, on Chris Chelios' retirement night at the United Center, and the return of Blackhawk legend Patrick Kane as the Detroit Red Wings to Chicago. The Wings come back to win 3-2 in overtime on the winning goal by Patrick Kane, set up by former Blackhawk Alex DeBrincat. And this Red Wing team right now is 8 points in a playoff spot as the number 1 wild card. And the Red Wings are only 4 points behind those Toronto Maple Leafs for the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference as well. So hopefully the Wings can get another W and 2 points tonight. Again, that game at Little Caesars Arena, I think it's either 7 o'clock or 7:30 face-off as well. But that's about it. I want to say thank you so much again to my guest today, Rachel Stacy. She is a recording artist out of Nashville. She's a singer, songwriter, producer, and she's also a fiddler. And please check out her latest song called Empty Glass that is available on iTunes, Spotify, all the music platforms. Empty Glass came out in November 2023. Please check that out. And she has another song coming out on March 29th called 3 Words. And again, you can check out Rachel's website. I'm going to bring it up right here. Rachel's website. She has a couple of sites here. You can check Rachel out on Linktree at Rachel Stacy. And her website again is rachelstacy.com. And you can also follow Rachel on Instagram and Twitter/X at the Rachel Stacy as well. I want to say thank you to everybody for watching this live streamed on my platforms, on my audio platforms, and for those listening on WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, and also on CKRT Radio, Border City Radio in Windsor as well. The next live with CDP Sports Talk to be announced. I am working hard on getting some more guests for later this week and next week. And that's about it. Again, thank you to Rachel Stacy for coming on. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the afternoon. And let's go Red Wings. And hopefully they can get their 6th straight win tonight at Little Caesars Arena. And we'll talk to you guys very soon on social media and for my announcements of some more guests coming up on Live with CDP Sports Talk. And also check out my other show called the Small Talk Podcast, monthly entertainment and news shows with my co-host Marlene Sharp. We had a great episode last night about autism and entertainment and talking about autism with our guest Larrett Topaz, who was the executive producer and founder of Nico Productions, animation company in Los Angeles, California. So please check out the Small Talk Podcast. And I'm hoping in the next few weeks to bring back the Argo Bounce live audio show and talk some Toronto Argonauts and Canadian Football League as well. So that's about it. Again, thank you to Rachel Stacy for coming on today. And thank you everyone for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports Talk. And we'll talk to you soon for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk and Entertainment Show, again brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet and on WQEE 99.1 FM and CKRT Border City Radio in Windsor. Have a great afternoon, guys, and we'll see you soon for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk.